You will not believe this, but this might be a video dragging Tabitha Brown.
Hello there. Real quick, that this is not to discourage you, because I want us to be clear about that first, okay? You gotta been in this place for a long time, okay? Now listen, you got good ideas, baby. You got good ideas. Your execution is not as good, okay? Your follow through, not as good. The ideas though are great. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, and that doesn't mean it's not for you. But right now, these last few months, few years, you know what I'm talking about. Baby, it ain't been working for you, okay? And you doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay, you done got yourself in some mess, and it's time for you to get a job. You hear me? You just gonna need to get a job for a little while. Okay, it don't mean your ideas ain't good. Okay, it don't mean that maybe one day you could be a good entrepreneur. But you have proven to yourself and everybody else that you owe money to, okay, that it ain't working right now. Okay, it ain't worked for a while. It actually has never worked yet. Doesn't mean it won't ever work. But right now, you need to go to work. You're gonna need to get a job, okay? And then keep working towards it. But at least you'll have a job while you are pursuing that thing. But right now, you need to get a job, baby. All right? That's it. I love you.
Have you ever heard the saying, eat the meat and throw away the bones? Or what about this one? If it don't apply, let it fly. Yeah. See, when people tell you messages online, they're not always for you. Sometimes they are meant for other people. Maybe Tabitha read something and thought she could spread a little message that would go over well with the community. And lately, the community has not been feeling her messages. And I get it. Sometimes people can say things to us that trigger a spot in us, and it's a no-go. Sometimes it's the right message and the wrong messenger. Understand that completely. We know that a lot of Black women are a part of Tabitha Brown's community. So let's get that part out the way first. A lot of people were saying, well, she didn't even say Black women. Baby, Tabitha had her whole t-shirt on saying Black women are superheroes. Okay. And we know who support Tabitha. Black women do. So naturally, Black women are going to feel like she's talking to them. Now, Tabitha probably didn't read the room as much as she should have. When she put out this message, she didn't think about all of the women who had just gotten laid off from their jobs. I get it. So there are a lot of Black women who feel like, wait a minute, girl, I just got laid off. I'm not trying to hear no message about get a job and I'm trying to build this business because I didn't put 20 years into something that didn't give me anything back. I understand because I've had friends that put years into businesses that thought they were going to come out on top. And those same businesses that they invested their time into, the majority of their life, let them go with a layoff. They didn't care how much time those people had spent on the job. They let them go. And there are women that are still hurting because of that. And now we've had bigger layoffs and more layoffs and thousands of people. Not just Black women in general, but people are out of work. And so those people are trying to find other ways to make income because this economy has become very difficult and very expensive to live in. Get all of that. But sometimes we have to eat the meat and throw away the bones. We have to learn if it don't apply, let it fly.
So most of the Black women I know, they do work to fund their dreams.
Tabitha is one who stands on, man your business, don't you go messing up nobody else's day. Well, I don't think she took her own advice. Because baby, 3 days ago, she had everybody's day messed up. The Black women were pissed.
Let me break it down for y'all who are confused as to why people are upset at Tabitha Brown. When we watch these influencers and content creators basically go from rags to riches, what we don't realize or what we don't see happening behind the scenes is their removal from our everyday experiences. They become so far removed from how we experience the job market and how we experience the economy, hell, how we are affected by the presidency. And they become tone deaf to the point that they feel like they can tell us how to exist in that experience. Tabitha Brown is not experiencing the job market the way we are experiencing it. And when she got up here and begged us not to boycott Target so that she could keep selling her products, maybe we should have told her she needed to go get a job. I understand the message. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And social media, especially since 2020, has been selling fucking dreams. And the message is sometimes it's not going to work. You have to go get a job. But I ain't never heard nobody say they sat down in the job. They wanted the job of their dreams just fell in their fucking lap. We've never heard it. Then she used to Uber. That's entrepreneurship, honey. You're not getting a W-2. You're getting a 1099 at the end of the year. Why was you out doing Uber? Because you lost your job. And I guess it wasn't easy for you to find another one. So you had to rely on entrepreneurship. You are not experiencing the job market, the economy, the presidency the same way us everyday Americans are. So the message, while it may have been right, it was definitely the wrong messenger. And the only people that are upholding her in this are the same classist people that feel like they can tell people who are less than them what the fuck they can do to be better than their situation they're in now. It is definitely classism. I don't need a millionaire to get on here and tell me to pull myself up by the motherfucking bootstraps. Get on here and quote your Bible verses and sell your hair care products. Get on here and make vegan potato salad. But don't get on here and tell me how to exist in a world in a way you don't even have to experience it. That's bullshit.
I'm not one to be pissed with her. She has a reason for her messaging, and she probably thought that it would be a good time to put it out. And she might have saw something and said, you know what, let me just throw a message out there to the entrepreneurs, right? I don't know, what her reasoning was. But there are some people who feel like they got her message and she was right. Let's hear it.
But Tabitha was talking to people like me, y'all. I've been out of work since 2017. I just recently started working again back in June. Now, I stopped working to be a full-time makeup artist and a content creator. And that was going okay. If I'm being completely and totally fucking honest, it was going okay, all right? I never got to the point where I was making a good amount of money every single month and everything was going smoothly. 2020, COVID happened. I was pregnant. I didn't do makeup anymore because nobody was going nowhere. Nobody wants to be around it, people. Y'all know the whole thing.
Okay, y'all, let's break this down real quick. So she made a conscious decision in 2017 that she no longer wanted to work for someone else, but wanted to become a makeup artist full time. So that means she didn't get fired. She didn't get laid off. This was her decision to become a makeup artist and a content creator. And it wasn't doing that well. It was all right. Okay. Now, it does take a number of years to build a business. So I don't want anybody to get discouraged when you are building a business. It takes time. Okay. Don't let somebody else's journey deter you from your journey. I want to make sure I put that out there. Now, one of the things that she fell into was COVID. It happened March of 2020. Ain't nobody trying to get their makeup done. But one of the things I do know is that content creation took a really big boom and a lot of people were getting paid from that. But again, if you're not putting out good content, people don't want to watch it and then you're not going to get paid. So I don't know if she was doing content creation for the makeup or was she doing a whole nother thing for content creator. The other thing I want to make sure people know is when you are building a business, you have to focus on that one business. A lot of times people want to have their hand in so many different pots trying to build multiple businesses. Baby, you haven't learned how to build one and it takes a lot out of you. So you need to focus on one thing. And I've noticed that a lot of people are focusing on more than one thing that doesn't bring them income. So that's a bad thing to do. If you want to create content, it needs to be used for your business so that it helps with marketing. All right. I just wanted to throw that out there. Let's keep listening.
So I started to do a catering business. Now my catering business has been doing okay. Just like the makeup, right? But I'm finding that for the business, I just need a lot of money. Like I have kitchen fees, I got licensing fees, I got a whole lot of money. So I had to make the decision that, hey, you want this catering business, right? You want this to pop off. So what you got to do is get up off your ass and get a job. Tabitha was talking to folks like me, okay? And there are a subsection of people like myself who have been at entrepreneurship for a while and it is not working yet. And we do have to accept the reality of the fact that, hey, while I'm still going to pursue this, in the meantime, I got to get a job. That's who she was talking to, y'all.
Anybody who is going through entrepreneurship, there is a journey and you do not know what's going to happen. But like I said before, if you're going to focus on a business, make sure that it's that one business, because giving up on this business, going to that business and doing this business, that can be very difficult and it just makes the journey that much longer. So, but hats off to her for sharing her journey. I want to say this. I think that Tabitha Brown's message did not land well because of where Black women are today. There are a lot of Black women who have been laid off from their jobs or fired from their jobs, and they are just trying to make it. And so even not just Black women, but come on, we got celebrities that were making a lot of money who are now creating podcasts because the money that they were getting is not the money that they're getting now. There are just a lot of people affected by this economy. And so I get her saying, you just gonna have to get a job, baby. I want you to take this the right way. How about this? How about telling these Black women and anybody else that's in your community how to better build their business as an entrepreneur? I think that would have landed a lot better. And I get it. She probably felt like her saying get a job was her telling you something positive. And I'm not saying that it wasn't. But giving out better information as to what we need to be better entrepreneurs. We not good at it. It's not going to work. Well, yet y'all been doing this for a long time, maybe for some years, maybe for a couple of months. Well, we already know entrepreneurship takes longer than a couple of months. We also know that entrepreneurship takes longer than a couple of years. Okay. I think the best thing that Tabitha Brown could have done was give pointers on how to better become an entrepreneur. And maybe her saying get a job was one of the ways, but other information. We've seen people get up on the internet, have big conferences and all of that, and regurgitate the same information over and over again about entrepreneurship. But there are not many people that are really saying, I'm going to show you how to do this. And here is the blueprint. And this is something you can follow. And here are the tools that you could use. And I feel like more Black people and minorities need the tools to create more successful businesses. And then they won't fall into the traps that a lot of people have fallen into if we had that information. But that information is not given, or it's given to certain people. And if you want to see your people thrive, if you want to see your people survive in this economy, then show them how. Now, she said what she said. She ain't taking it back. She already put a video up saying she meant what she said, and that's okay. If you don't have a support system to help you get through the rough times of being an entrepreneur, yes, you're going to need a job. You're going to need a job. If you can't pay your bills, and she said you robbing Peter to pay Paul, you're going to need a job if you can't pay your bills. But a part of entrepreneurship is you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul a whole lot of days. And an entrepreneur who has built their business from the ground up with no money in the beginning had to rob Peter to pay Paul. Now that y'all know all of that, y'all let me know what y'all think below, because that's what I'm here for.